Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we are talking about the brand new free agent card revealed by Ruggles today for Power of the Elements. If you don't know, Konami always does this thing in the TCG prior to getting a product released, the first 2 or so weeks away, right where we are right now, and they'll give information to a select few YouTubers, and then they will kind of reveal some of their new information today. Ruggles went over the free agent cards, most of which we knew. We knew the Ashura King, we knew the, Ultimate Slayer, we knew about Draco Utopian Aura, and we also knew about Karikara. I've talked about all those in separate videos, but today we also got a new card called Garura Wings of Resonant Life. This card has two major applications to me. So let's get into those. He is a level 6 Dark Wing Beast fusion effect monster, 1500 attack, 2400 defense. Nothing crazy. I kind of wish his attack was a little higher, but I'm not going to complain too much. Here's what we really need to focus on. First and foremost, this card's materials are any two monsters with the same type and attribute, but different names. Very good already. That is, this card can immediately be thrown just into the Super Poly pool of cards just because of this effect. I know what you're saying is like, that sounds pretty specific, John. I don't know. Listen. Just fundamentally, the fact that Konami, when they build decks, they build them around a certain theme. And more often than not, I would say, those themes tend to lead Konami to a route where the archetype's just kind of the same type and the same attribute. I mean, let's look at a couple examples. You think about Vernalizer Fairy, new archetype, Earth Fairies. Look at Tier Elements, Dark Aquas. Like, I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Just it's just how it works, you know. So a lot of different matchups will be super easy to be super polyed because of this card. So I think you need to look at it that way. Now, as far as its actual effects go, it has two of them. The first one says any battle damage your opponent takes from battles involving this card is doubled. That's fine, but guys, keep in mind, I mentioned this earlier, we're only 1500. I don't expect to really do a ton, but I guess if you are going to super poly away your opponent's board and attack direct, doing 3000 damage is actually decent. So, we'll take it, I guess. But for the real bonus effect of this card, if this card is sent to the graveyard, draw one card. You can only use this effect once per turn. This effect takes this card and gives it dual purpose. At the same time, really awesome. So the first purpose of this card is just being a generic Super Poly target. We always look for nice Super Poly targets to make the card kind of fit into any format. This card does a great job at kind of extending the potential of Super Poly format to format, but also this effect. Talking about a couple cards here, looking down at Ultimate Slay, right? I talked about this card yesterday in a video saying, you send a fusion monster to bounce a, Shaddoll Winda, or shuffle a Shaddoll Winda back into your opponent's extra deck. Sending a fusion, now you send this guy, draw a card. So stuff like Ultimate Slay, Dogmatica Punishment, pop a card, then draw one. That one's the only one that's the most iffy because Punishment does need to you do need to target a monster your opponent controls with attack less than the monster you send. So you have to only pop something small to get that effect, but it could still come up. Also talking about stuff like Nadir's Servant, Dogmatica Maximus, right? Extra Foolish Burial. There are multiple cards that add value to this. I've been talking about cards that do this. I mean, I would literally play a deck like Pacifist, Phantasm Spiral, and I would play Dogmatica Punishment in the deck, and I would play Farragut as a card in the deck because there could be scenarios where I just don't have access to Pacifist. So if I'm going to punishment my opponent to kind of stall, how about I also go for Farragut to try and draw my way into a Pacifist? Well, this is just straight up a better effect than Farragut because Farragut draws you one, then you have to put a card back. This card just raw draws you one. It's just a raw +1 on that effect. So that's really good at the end of the day. And even after super polying, just normal summon something, either synchro off with this, link off with this, fuse off with it again. I don't care. You're going to get an extra card out of it. This card, I think, isn't broken by any means, but I do think for these two purposes, it adds just some really nice versatility to Super Poly and any of those cards that give you a send from extra. So all in all, really interesting card. Very, very interesting card. I like it. I mean, it's not throwing the format out of whack, but I do think if you are one of those decks that plays Super Poly and or any of the send from extra deck stuff, this is a card you probably just take a look at, depending on the format, and go from there. And depending on the deck you play, and depending on what kind of scenarios you expect to be caught in, this card could definitely come up. So I like it. Very, very cool. Happy to see more Super Polys targets come into the format. I know a lot of people don't like Super Poly. I don't like it when Super Poly can be played in a meta deck, but I do like it when like rogue decks can pretty easily play Super Poly. That's when I like it. But not when like a deck like Despia is just running around like playing 3 Super Poly, or Shadalls are just playing 3 Super Poly, because that's when it gets like crazy and stupid. But yeah, all in all, I like it a lot. Very cool. But I want to know your guys' thoughts, so throw those down in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts on this card. If there's any other scenarios you think this card could come up in, please let me know there. And I am out of here. Thank you so much for watching today. And forward, subscribe if you haven't. You want to see more videos from me. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.